Hey. My gosh. Oh, these fellas. Wow.
Right. Hello, everybody. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody?
Hello.
What's going on?
What's up? Welcome to the Melanin Reset podcast. Now, tonight, we're getting ready to dive into theme number 2, communication and understanding. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. Communication and understanding. But before we dive into that, let's give it up for it being February.
Yep.
And we are in the midst of Black History Month. So give it up for Black History
Yes.
Month. Anybody? Y'all want to talk about y'all t-shirts?
So in the spirit of Black history and representing for all the beautiful Black women out there, you can see it says, I am Black history. I am powerful. I am beautiful.
Yes.
I am resilient.
Yes.
I am magical. I am smart, and I am loved.
Yes, I love that. I love that. All right. Lefter?
Well, mine is designed with the U.S. flag, meaning that without Black history, the flag, among many other things in this country, would not exist.
Exactly.
That is just a interpretation
Yes.
of what we mean to this country.
Yes.
It to be respected.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Because
All
Black
right.
history is American history.
Yes.
All right. Walter, what you'll say?
Dusty Rose.
What say? Go on and tell us. Come on with your mic.
I am.
All right. Yes, you are.
Yes, you
absolutely in the flesh.
And I'm gonna tell y'all what mine. It says Black culture, society's #1 influencer. And shout out to my bestie Tanya for blessing me with this one.
That is cute. You did good, Tanya.
Yes.
That is cute, and that is her.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now we got a little treat at the end of the podcast, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because we're gonna tell y'all something at the end. So stay tuned. All right.
All right.
Y'all know what we're talking about at the end,
Yes.
right? Okay, our faves. All right. So let's dive in. First of all, do we want to share any feedback from the last podcast? Because people still feasting off the first one, and we didn't drop number 2. So y'all can check it out whenever you have time or at your convenience. That'll work for us, And y'all want to share feedback?
Oh, I just want to thank the positive feedback that we have received from people that have actually taken the time to watch it. We appreciate you taking the time to support us. And if you are seeking any knowledge, hopefully there was something that we said that you were able to maybe apply to your marriage journey, or just something that made you have a little bit more of an open mind. So, but we have been getting really good feedback. I've even had a couple of questions pertaining to some of the things that we actually discussed, where it made one couple, actually a wife, think outside the box. And something that she could have asked her husband that she didn't know, and she knows who she is. And so we just want to thank you guys so much for the continued support. We ask that you continue to pray for us along our journey. But this has been so fun with the wins. We look forward to it like every week. So
we do too.
Yeah,
we do too. We are so blessed to have you guys coming and gracing us. I guess we're going to say minister reached out and said, this is exactly what is needed. People being real about marriage and about relationships.
Wow.
Because not only is it going to help married couples, but also help those who are newly involved.
Right.
You know, who are starting to date or what have you. So it's across all age spectrums.
Yeah.
You know, and especially for the young people, you know, they get to see us and we still fly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you know, and we are still keeping the fire burning.
Oh, yes.
You know.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, we having fun with this.
It is. It's
You
really,
know, we
fun.
having fun with this.
Yeah, marriage is work, but it can also be really, really fun. It just depends on your outlook and with your partner that you choose.
Your partner that you, and you know what? In my the Melanin Reset discussions group on Facebook, I posted, "Be careful who you defend." It was a story, you know. So while Leslie is saying the partner that you choose, because that may be the person you might have to defend. So let's be careful, men and women,
Yes,
with the persons that we choose.
Yeah, that's important.
One thing you gotta look at it, you can't look at marriage as a task. It's a journey.
Yes,
It's a journey of two people, like two. It's like Jack said before, two worlds colliding.
Yes,
You know, that's what it's. In some ways, it can be like all in one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You emulsify that thing, it'll come together.
Yeah.
So the thing is, just make sure that you're doing things not out of a task, but you're doing it because you want to see your marriage grow. You want to grow as a person, as an individual, and also you want the best for your mate.
Oh yes,
Yes, indeed.
That's what it's all about.
Minister Farrakhan said something once.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it takes God made woman for man, but it takes a woman to try a man to make him stand in manhood.
Yeah,
you are not tried until you're tried by a woman that you're married to.
Yeah.
That makes that, and when you come through that makes her respect you and know that she's okay.
Yes.
When you can stand in there, because she has to believe in you.
Yes.
You can't expect somebody to believe in you and have faith in you if you're not operating in that. You know, most of us think that if we get married, a switch gonna get turned on, and now I'm acting like a husband, or now I'm acting like a wife. If you're not operating in that before, and that's just not who you are, then the switch don't turn on. It's just, that's just not who you are.
Yeah,
not who you are. It's not gonna happen that way.
Yeah. That can be a whole nother session in itself, because contrary to what a lot of men and women believe, a lot of women, our desire is to be submissive to your husband.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I'm speaking for me. I know a lot of other women. We're not going to be submissive to you or follow you if you're not being a good leader.
Exactly.
You doing things that are unbecoming, of a husband. Now we know you got to grow through things, but I will follow you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
If you doing right, if you following, God, a good man, they say follow it 70 times 70.
Yeah.
But as long as you get back up.
Yeah.
And you are trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And you are trying to lead the household with your heart after God. Again, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. We fall down, but we get up. Hey.
Okay.
Had to throw church. Okay. We fall down, but we get up.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
Seriously,
you have to try to make an effort to, admit to some of the things that we do, because we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And really wholeheartedly work at trying to do better.
Yeah.
And that's a lot when it comes down to marriage. You have to allow yourself, to be vulnerable, let your guards down, and say, if you really love a person, then hey, excuse me. When you think about how God and Jesus forgives us so many times over and over and over, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We know that love hides a multitude of wrongs, but when it comes down to being submissive, for me, I am so happy to follow this man because he is a leader.
Yeah.
And he does have a heart after God. So it makes it really easy when it's like that. But it's not always been that way, and neither with me. We have to grow into that.
Yeah.
So we're thankful for where we are.
Yeah.
We're thankful.
And one thing that I've said along the way is to make sure that you are consistent and committed. Because it's easy to follow a man or submit to a man when he is consistent, because it shows his commitment. So that's why consistency is so important.
It is very important.
But y'all,
very important.
We can keep rolling. Now, we said this was going to be a 6-part series.
And it's going to be a 19, a 30. Yeah.
So, and what it's looking like is, because I believe that God has a purpose for us. And what began as a 6-part series is actually starting to blossom.
Yes.
Oh, look, I'm losing my headphone. It's actually starting to blossom into something else. And we're going to just ride with it till the wheels fall
We ride until the wheels fall off.
Okay. So, let's get into our, because we about 11 minutes in. So let's get into what we are here
He is
for
so
tonight.
silly. He said he thinking about that girl that was on and being interviewed that lost her wig in the middle of the show.
Yes.
No, that ain't happening. That's not happening today. Okay.
No, I'm losing my headphones. But shout out to Dear Future Wifey Podcast, because she found a mate.
She did?
What?
Yes.
After that?
Even after that, someone who loved her in spite of, because baby, she was talking and that wig just slipped off.
I still laugh at that. I've seen it 19 times.
Yes, she is.
He does. He laughs at it like it's just. And so for me, I always tell people, because I am the wig queen, child. I love me some wigs
and be beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I always tell people, and I'm a cosmetologist, been at for 30 some years. I tell people, and I'm telling y'all too, this go for you and Walt. If y'all really love me, y'all my friend.
We will edit that video.
And you can do that too. But if y'all see we in public and y'all see my wig slipping off, you better jump on my head like it's on fire. You better jump on my head like my head is on fire.
Okay.
If you really my friend.
I got you.
Okay?
You. I got you. She say like it is on
like
fire.
It's on fire. I don't care if you break my neck.
Man, I love y'all. I love y'all.
I know that is a 911.
It's a 911 situation.
Yes. It is a cold. It is a cold 10.
It's a cold 10.
Y'all, but let's go ahead and get into communication and understanding. So the first thing that I have on my notes, I got my notes. It says how counseling, our therapy, help both couples understand their different communication styles. I'm gonna start with you. You comfortable with starting? How did therapy help you understand your communication style?
Well, what did it help me? Well, to understand your communication style, you have to understand yourself.
Yeah.
And once therapy allowed me to understand who I was and understand how I communicate, not something that it's not how someone else communicates, but how I communicate. So what it did, it helped me refine that. Now I have understanding why I do these things, why I say these things, and what type of communication that I exhibit and why I exhibit. Because a lot of communication we exhibit, it comes from things that we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So we emulate those things that we see.
Yeah.
But those things may not necessarily be your form. So what you have to do is that you have to sift out those things, filter out those things, find out who you are, just like went back to last week, your identity.
Right.
So it allowed me to communicate with my wife as Walter, not as someone else, not as how I saw someone else do it, authentically how I communicate.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's cool. What? I want to ask if y'all don't mind sharing. Yeah. He's always so eloquent, both of you guys. What prompted you? What got you to the point to where you knew, okay, we got to have counseling, either for yourself individually or as a couple?
For me individually, it was a sense of you know yourself, and you know when you feel like you're out of control, and your mindset is not one of happiness. It's coming from a place of darkness.
Wow.
And because you are feeling a certain type of way, you won't ever want to feel like that.
Wow.
And so I shared the case where for counseling and other things that I woke up every morning aggravated every morning.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to choose diplomacy or violence, it's violence. I was looking for it for that day. Anything would set me off, and I would go.
Now, what do you mean by violence? Doesn't mean he was looking to go out and physically fight somebody, but verbally, he was always on red, always ready to go, ready to pounce at any given moment. And I became a product. I would say
became the victim.
I don't really call myself a victim. Take that mentality, but I became the what is it?
You were the seer. You felt it. You received it.
I became the receiver of that. Because really, women are. That's what we built for.
Oh yeah,
we're built to receive.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
And with that, in a sense, you have to be that person because, like, and I understand what Walt was talking about because when me and Leslie first got married, I used to have, I used to have a horrible attitude. I would wake up in the morning mad. And I don't know why I'm mad. And then the way she would be, would adjust my day or how my day would be. And then if I went out in the public and I spoke to somebody and they didn't speak back, it was F everybody. I ain't talking to nobody today. And I mean, this is how I would be. And I could, and let me tell you something. On grudges, I could teach classes on holding grudges.
I'm the king.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. But I'll tell you what changed it for me. I read a book by Medgar Evers. And there was a paragraph that said, nine times out of 10 when you hold grudges on people, either they don't know or they don't care. So you're the only one holding that.
Yeah.
And it's stressing you out and you carrying it.
Yeah.
So, and that changed my mindset about that kind of stuff. But before, oh Lord, I would be, man, it was nothing for me. I could hold grudges for years. I could walk around pissed off for days, weeks, months, and I wouldn't lose no sleep. Didn't bother me at all.
And don't you feel freer though?
Yeah.
You feel freer?
You do.
Because with me, it could be the slightest thing. It used to be the slightest thing.
Yeah.
Like Jack, you're not speaking to me.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so the thing is, when you carry around that weight, it's heavy to walk around like
that.
Wow, I can.
What it does, it compounds the way you feel because you're already mad. Someone says something. Just to brought it up to another level. So you know what you like. You know what? I'm just going any morning. I'm gonna snap them.
Yep.
Rick.
Slap shit.
So
but seriously, you saying that, but I've heard military stories about Walter and how people would come up in his face and be talking crazy, and that's what he would do. Actually give them that 5-finger slap.
Yeah.
The taste out of their mouth.
Oh.
So and that was when he was in the military. And so I had never experienced any of that because he was always so loving
and tender with you.
And because he called me what?
Tender love. That's a good thing though, because that's a good thing.
And so
you don't want to see that.
The red flag was when I was on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
And the because we talking about communication. When he was listening to respond and not listening to be aligned with me and aligned with our vibe or what have you. It became a thing of okay, either we get this straight or we won't be together. Now, keep in mind, now we had said divorce is off the table. But at that part, Val, you want to leave me, then leave.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Or, I always said divorce was off the table, but I cannot take this. I'm not going to go through this with you. And so we knew at that point, the only way for us to make it, we had to get help.
Wow.
We had to seek outside help. Now, mind you, I didn't had therapy before and all this other stuff, but he hadn't. So, he made the choice, this gonna break us if I don't go.
That's what it took. But were you reluctant to get therapy, or were you at a point to where you didn't even realize that you needed it?
I came to a point that I realized I did need it because I was tired. It was like decades I had been like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you're like, you know what, I'm tired. And the thing is, you start looking at yourself and saying, how do I want others to see me? Because I believe the older a man gets, is that it's his job to inspire younger people.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I didn't want to be a bitter old man.
Right.
I wanted to be a wise person who was level-headed.
Wow.
And so I was like, you know what? I need to deal with this. I need to deal about these reactions. And that therapist was good for helping me kind of maneuver those waters, but not necessarily getting in depth in it. So I knew how to handle it when it came up. Kind of felt it.
Right.
But then later on, it became a point, like last year, it became a point that, oh no, that's not working.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and that's when I went to the VA, then because as a veteran, the VA understands what we go through.
Right. And see, that's what I had to do. Now, when I went to the VA, they were telling me, why everybody doesn't understand the things that you've dealt with and the way that you think and the way you feel, because they live in a world that has never seen your world that you live in. And then when you look at stuff differently than they do, and you look at stuff the way that they have issues it's like, that's nothing. What are you complaining about? So you might diminish what somebody else is going through because their stuff is nowhere close to what you call a bad day, and what somebody else call a bad day who ain't been through what you've been through. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So they don't understand what you're talking about, and you don't understand what they're talking about, and you're minimizing what they're talking about like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Because it is nothing to you. So you have to be able to understand where somebody else is coming from. Otherwise, you can't talk to other people, and then it will aggravate you about them complaining and whining and being what military people call, the B word, because that's how they acting to you.
Yeah.
Because of the things that you've experienced. You got to understand that we are a sum of the experiences that we have in life. So our experience basically makes us who we are. And the way that we handle stuff is how we respond to those experiences. So if you got people who've never been through the things that you've been through, and they walk around complaining and crying about nothing that you would consider nothing, it's going to get on your nerves. So you have to understand that. And once you understand, it's like, okay, take a deep breath, back up. It ain't that serious, and there you go.
Yeah, and I don't mean to take credit for it, but I have to at this point, since we're talking about communication. Over the years, this issue that he's talking about, and I'm sure you've had to be the same way. I've had to point things out to him, to get him to see like that perspective, and knowing that he, is a veteran, knowing that, it's either life or death for him. But I had to talk to him and let him know, hey, it's not that way to everybody. So you have to look at it from a different perspective. It's not always, the way that you see it, black and white, not really having, I would say, empathy for things, because it's like, hey, if this something is not, going to kill me or put me in harm's way, I should be able to push through it. That's a veteran's mindset. But thankfully, over the years, it took a while, but he listened. Now he'll listen, and I'm really thankful, that he got to that point, that we can communicate.
Yeah.
But
A little bit.
Well,
anyway.
one thing, that I had to point out to Walt is I'm not telling you these things to intentionally hurt you.
mm-hmm.
I'm on your side.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned this in the first podcast.
Right.
We are on the same team. It
Mhm.
is us
Mhm.
against the problem,
Mhm.
not the problem coming in to divide us.
Right,
But
right.
we have to attack this thing together.
Mhm. Yeah,
and-
that's the devil. The devil
yeah.
always put in your mind, oh, he's out to get me. He always on me, or she always on me. That's what he puts in your mind all the time, hoping that you're gonna bite off of that,
Yeah.
so that you can turn what should have been a molehill into a mountain.
Yeah.
All the time. You just have to be able to recognize that, and the whole thing, what makes a difference in all of the scenarios for us is the way that we communicated with each other.
Yeah.
But that had to be learned over the year, and we didn't learn it without some serious counseling.
We didn't learn it overnight.
Mm-mm.
It was not a over the night fix. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. The Bible teaches us to not to go to bed and be angry, whatever it say. What's the scripture, y'all?
Bed, don't let the sun set on your wrath.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Now, I know that is well intentioned, but sometimes you have to go to bed angry because you need that time to calm yourself all the way down before you get into a discussion with your spouse and say something that you're going to regret.
I think that's what
So true, babe. So true.
It's not actually what it says, it's the interpretation of what it says. Meaning, okay, you're in a process of calming down. Because we're not talking. So you're in the process of calming down. So we're going to reconvene in the morning or sometime during the day. I'm not upset no more. I'm calm now. So, yeah. So
I had to learn.
He had to learn that too.
Let me
He had to learn that too.
Let me tell you something, because we wasn't going to bed until it was solved.
Really?
Walter.
And this the issue with that.
and then we just say, fuck it, go ahead, whatever you want.
Yes. And the lady,
I took that literally.
Let me go to sleep. Whatever.
Wow.
All right, yeah, you good.
Yeah.
You good. Yeah, whatever.
And Walt used to be like, I'm not finna argue with you. This is over with.
And you're like, no, we gonna talk this out.
And would give me the silent treatment. But we learned in counseling. We learned in counseling that the silent treatment is fighting unfair.
But you know what?
Negative form of communication.
Because this is why, and you will find men that will do that. And let me tell you why men do that.
Because he's the king.
No, men. Okay, you know. There's a saying. There's a saying that a man that can't control his hands is likened to a woman that can't control her tongue. Men cannot really. We know we really can't go toe to toe in a word battle with women. We can't, because what's going to happen is when men get into a discussion, at some point the word's going to stop.
Yeah.
Then it's some physical altercation that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And people, because we live in such a peaceful time, people forget the amount of havoc one man can raise. So when we arguing with you, we'll shut down, because right now we're done talking. We're through talking. Through talking. So now we don't want to talk no more.
But Jack,
so we got to walk off.
You know what I'm about to say. No. But Jack, I'm the type, you don't want to talk to me, you're going to catch these hands if you don't.
And see, that's not a good thing. Because you got some dudes that'll say, okay, well, we're going to go there. And then you got but you got guys like me and Walt that's going to say, look, girl.
Look here, Jack. Let me tell you something. I learned my lesson in putting my hands on my husband. Okay? Because my husband was forced to take me down. Yeah. And, you know, the thing is, we've been through a lot and we had to get past that. And I had to learn my lesson the hard way. Okay. And not only learn my lesson the hard way, I had to learn my lesson in protecting him.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because we're not. See,
because I'm gonna tell. Let me just keep it all the way real. When the authorities came on the scene,
somebody leaving.
When the authorities came on the scene, guess who they charged?
You?
Yeah, but they were looking to charge.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm surprised because normally it'd be him.
And so I was like, well, no, because the thing is, they would have caused us to lose
so everything. Much, yeah.
And I know when we was in counseling, you know, my therapist say, what made you think of that? As a Black woman, it is my job to protect my king. Mm-hmm. I play chess, not chess. And even though the and I hope you don't mind me getting into this. So even though, because I just jumped in, didn't ask him how he felt, and even though, you know, I was angry with him at the time, my love for him overcame everything. Now he was mad as hell at me, and he's the one who left the house.
But you had enough clarity to say, hold on, wait a minute.
But I was thinking, my therapist say, why were you thinking like that? Because I know what they do to Black men. Yeah. And I don't care if it was Black females that showed up here to calm the situation down and all. They
normally take the husband to jail.
They was looking to take him to jail. And I was like, well, no, this was on me. I threw mop water on him, which I did. You know.
Mop
water, girl. Mop water that I hadn't poured out yet. Mop water that I hadn't poured, because look, all I saw was red.
Yeah,
because he was doing what? That silent treatment stuff. Okay, you didn't move me. Look, and in my mind, you didn't move me out here. I done left Beaumont. I done left my business in Beaumont, and now you gonna give me the silent treatment?
Yeah, and I can attest with you with that, because the silent treatment.
Why you laughing?
He laughing. The silent treatment has caused me to turn into the Tasmanian devil too. I want to put my hands on them. I want to put my hands on them, and I have done that too. Not proud of it, but I have done it a couple of times, and it ain't nothing but the grace of God. Because when I did it was bad. Was with a bat.
Oh no!
One was with a knife. It was bad, attacking the tires, attacking the car, attacking him.
That was funny though.
The cops said both times they said we should take you to jail because you have clearly assaulted him. It wasn't nothing but the grace of God that I did not go. I did not go to jail because I had assaulted me, and he would never hit me. Never. Never hit me. So, but just like trying to console me, because, you know, then turned into the Tasmanian devil. You know, like probably like Walt had to do for you was try to, I can only imagine.
Tried to restrain me. Okay. And so by the time they showed up, because my skin tone, these women came and they saw.
Him trying to restrain you, the bruises.
And so I'm like, no, this happened. I have a marble dresser in my bedroom, and I crashed into it. You know, so in my mind, I need to protect him because I'm gonna lose everything that we have. That's how I was thinking, and then I'm upset because why y'all call the police?
It enables.
Why you call? No, my crazy ass cousin. You know, trying to, you know, because shout out to
the crazy ass cousin.
I love you, and you know who you are. You know, I'm not gonna say which one it was, but you know who you are, and I love you. I love you.
Number love.
Because she was put in a position where they always had me and Walt on a pedestal, like we had it all together. And here it is. I didn't put my husband in a position where he didn't call one of my closest friends that probably could have talked me off the ledge. he called her because that was the closest cousin that I had, and basically said, your cousin over here tripping.
Yeah.
And then of course I said some things that scared them or what have you, and that's how it was supposed to be a wellness check, but it turned into something else. And so we fought through all that, everything, all the charges and everything was dropped.
Thank God.
We had to, girl. But that's because they see, and another thing, they had picked that up on me.
Say they ain't gonna do it, but the state pick up the charges.
My husband didn't file charges against me. The state picked up the charges, y'all, because your girl back in, I had to be the 90s, had handled up on a daycare worker who decided they was gonna put my less than 2-year-old son, just under 2-year-old son, in time out, and he had bruises on his back. So I went handled that. And I, of course, beat that case, but I didn't purge my record. Yes.
So they looked at that and said that you are,
even though it was over 20 years old, that I could be I could be the violent. Yeah. And so and so yes, and then this one here used to say value violent. And so now you are violent. And so, but he was the one waking up choosing violence every morning.
Well,
but it was in a different way.
It's a different way.
I was physical and he was
emotional, verbal.
The difference in a man being physical and a woman being physical is two totally different.
Yeah.
So you don't want him to be physical.
No,
some stuff gonna change around there.
Well, it changed, and no, he didn't put his hands on me like that, but it was to restrain me, and a lesson was learned from that, because going through all of that, we knew we needed help. And I was in love with Walter. I didn't want to end my marriage.
Of course, that's so beautiful.
I'm still in love with him to this day, but
I
was really in love with Walter. I was hurt. And I didn't want my marriage to end. But I knew we were at a crossroads where
to change.
We have to get the help. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. And the help couldn't come from the church. Because from the church, what they tell you is a woman's supposed to submit to her husband. Her husband is the head of the household, is the leader, and all this other stuff. But you have to be honest, when you're not being led. And you being put on, because I at that time it felt like I was being put on the back burner. Everything else came before me, and I gave up everything to be with you. This was our dream,
right?
Well, part of the dream wasn't for you to just leave me by myself,
right?
And I fend for myself, and it wasn't like he wasn't taking care of me or anything like that. But basically, I had to make all the decisions at home. I had to do this. I had to make sure the bills and everything was paid, because he was focused on building his career.
Right.
And the thing was, I'm sorry, babe. And the thing was, he gave me the latitude to do it when we lived in Beaumont.
Wow.
Right? So I wanted to make sure I was being what he needed me to be. But we were clashing. Because he was choosing violence every day, and I didn't know. I was on the risk. And so it had got bad.
But and also one thing about that, even the things that we're bringing up or we're talking about right now, we can talk about them because we're healed.
Yes.
And the thing is that we never looked at the situation. She need to be fixed. I need to be fixed.
Well, that's how you do it. You fix yourself first.
Because the thing is, what you want to do is say, what role did I play? There was a catalyst to bring us to this. That's what a real man does.
Oh, man.
It's like in the Bible, when you have a problem and you go to God, you pray that help God to fix me. Fix me. And then what happened once you fix yourself, and then they do the same thing, but it radiates from you. When you do whatever you need to do for yourself to make you a better person, then it impacts them also, because you're that better person. So that's what you want to do, and you did it the right way.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I got caught up in what I did.
Work.
And so what I did is I based off. I did. I need to do this. I need to do this is because this is who defines me. At that time, I had a false. I was an identity crisis.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I did is that I sat back and I said, "Oh, I need to get these things done. Val, you're going to take out all this stuff because I got to work. I got to learn my job because it defined who I was.
Yeah.
Which was a sign of a broken man.
Right.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Wow.
a broken man is a man who defines himself based off of what he does.
Wow.
Who he is.
Who he is.
And whose
Because,
he
yeah.
is.
And so what happens is God will bring you through situations or bring situations to the forefront.
Yeah.
And it's a fork in the road. How are you going to handle it?
He'll take it from you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, he'll take it from you too.
Yeah. You know, what are you going to do? How do you stand 10 toes down on who you are?
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
And so the thing is, these situations, I look at them as forms of communication.
Yeah.
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 Because what it does is that it screams loud that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And the problem is not with the other person. The problem is with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the
We
saying,
talked about accountability, so that's part of
Yeah.
accountability.
saying,
Yes.
fish stinks from the head.
Yes.
So if you're the head and everything ain't right, you got to get right with you first
Yes.
before you can adjust anything else in the house. And it'll radiate, like I said, it radiates from you.
Yes.
And once you right and you doing the right thing that you should be doing, and you following the steps that you should be doing, and your steps are ordered, then everything else has to come in order.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it will.
Because, you know, we want to let you guys know that we share this because we're just not, we always say this, that we have depth.
Mhm.
What we're sitting in.
Mhm.
To be great, you have to have depth.
Mhm.
Yes.
Just like you go out there and you look at one of those oak trees that's 100 feet tall. It's not 100 feet tall and has 5 foot worth of roots.
Oh no.
It
The
ain't
roots
just
are
yeah.
just as deep as the tree. It goes down 100 feet deep.
Right.
Yes.
Anything that's great,
Mhm.
it has depth to it.
Yes.
Yes.
And the thing is, if you are alone, then you're like, I can't believe the Winns and the Jacksons did this. Well, hey, this is what it's like.
Let me say this.
It's real.
We
It's real.
are human
Mhm.
and we are real.
We're real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is why we're able to sit here,
Mhm.
have this conversation, telling you about things that not things that we heard about. We're telling you about things that we've been through, that we've
Yep.
now
Yep.
that work.
Got the t-shirt.
Yes. Because we went through it. We went through it and it was not easy at all. You know, but the consistency and the commitment was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, this man has been consistent with me for over 32 years.
Wow.
And for me to try to accept turning my back on that, that was not the end road for me. That was not, I wanted my marriage. I wanted my husband. I wanted my family. And so we did the work. And like you said, we are healed from that. And this is our first time actually sharing it.
Wow.
In a public format. You know,
Wow.
so
I have to applaud you guys
yeah.
too. And then, you know, us as well does take courage in
Yes.
order to do that. You know, because, you know, you're sharing it for the whole world. So you let
that's right.
the whole world into your own,
Yes.
you know, private life. But
Yes.
our entire goal on this panel is that some couple may find something to be inspired and let you know you're not by yourself.
You're
I
not
mean,
by yourself. and
things happen.
And I have to say this because domestic violence is such a serious thing.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Oh yes.
I'm not saying stay in a relationship where that is occurring. That wasn't the case here, but it was construed as such. And let me say this: the state of Texas, where we're from, they do not mess around with that, and I'm grateful.
Yeah,
I am grateful for that. But also, the state of Texas, where we're from, they will hem up a black man.
Yeah,
and I love my black king.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because my husband is my king,
Mm-hmm.
and I treat him and I cater to him as such.
Amen.
You know,
yes.
and I'm that queen on the chessboard. I am here to protect my king.
I love that.
Just like my king is there to protect me.
I know that's right.
Okay?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Amen to that,
and the thing is,
sis.
what everyone has to understand
Yes.
is that you can't define us.
No.
We won't allow that.
No.
I always tell people this is here. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I give you the definition of me,
Yes.
and you read it back to me.
Uh-huh.
And so the thing
Yes.
is,
I like that.
if you feel some type of way or look differently, well, see that's between you and your God.
Yeah,
That's it.
Because,
That's it.
One thing
Yes.
I don't allow, because I don't define myself off of what I do. I define myself off of who I am.
Yes.
And you cannot define me. So,
Yes.
if you have a negative opinion,
Okay.
And let me say this, because I'm a big proponent of knowing thyself. I say that know thyself, because if you don't know yourself, someone else will define you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So define yourself and know yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
big on that.
Take the time to get to
That's
know
it.
yourself. Yeah.
That's
Figure
it.
it out.
That's
Yeah.
it. So how has counseling helped y'all?
Do y'all really want to know?
Yes, we do. We might go a little long,
Do
but
y'all
we'll
have
turn
enough
this
time?
into a 2-part thing. It might be 2-part for what's the one we on?
Oh my
We're on
gosh.
episode 3, communication
Yes.
in marriage.
Communication.
It may be a 2-part, podcast, but let's get into it.
Wow, y'all. Communication for us, it's been up until I would say the last year. It's been a constant struggle.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. It has been a struggle.
My sister said up until the last year, it's always
been a struggle with communication because number one, we didn't know how to communicate. And I guess it took us going through all that we went through, knowing that, like you were saying, the commitment that we were committed to getting it right, that we had enough of what you consider BS, that, although like you said, hey, we have times when you do get upset. There's been many of times, when you, I'm going to sleep on the couch, or somebody's got to leave. I'm going to leave and go for a ride or something because it's getting, those things certainly have happened. But, we had to get to a point to where we figured out, hey, we need some help. But for us, when it came down to communication, I had to learn through counseling that, as women, we always have to have the last word. I got to have it. I had the last word, and over the years, I used to be a person that they considered nicey nice, or I would say really easygoing. At times a pushover, and I would always pretty much go along with things because I was thinking of the other person all the time. Not necessarily was something that I wanted to do. I would commit to things. I would say yes to things I would, that I really didn't want to do. But that person don't live here no more. And I have completely found out who I am. And he get mad when I say it all the time because it's number love. Lord knows I love my mom and my sister. But I say, hey, they used to say that I'm more like my dad, who's really easygoing, Carl Stewart. But I have turned into Linda Randolph and my sister Felicia. But I have to learn how to control it sometimes because both of them Scorpios and child, they gonna say whatever it is they think. And
we have a Scorpio in our family. Shout out to our daughter.
Oh my gosh, Aspen.
Know how to. Okay. Okay, girl.
Them Scorpios.
Listen what she's saying.
Oh my gosh. But when I tell you, they always spoke up for themselves, always, and gonna have the last word.
Yes.
And will chew you up and spit you out. So I also had to learn that it wasn't always important for me to have the last word, but I needed to, no matter how hurt I was, I needed to not hurt him and tear him down with my words. Right. Because I was hurt. Yeah. It wasn't okay for me to tear him down.
Yeah.
with my words, because it takes a lot.
My question is, did you do that intentionally?
I did it intentional.
Okay, well,
I did it intentional because I was hurt. I did it intentional, the things that I would say. And then I'm always this person that, you know, I can be mad and go off that day later on this evening. Oh, hey, you want to go get some ice cream? Whatever. And he is so like, not like that. He's still mad. He can be mad for days. You know, we worked through that. We have worked through that. You know how we work through that? We've learned that communication, that, hey, it's not that serious like he was saying, you know, whatever it was. And the conviction, God will convict us when we're like, no, I'm not saying I'm sorry. I'm not, because, you know, I'm tired of being wrong, or I know I'm right. So I am not going to say I'm sorry. I'm not going to be like, hey, babe, let's sit down and talk about this, because that's the devil on your shoulder. You're always there, trying to do something, cause problems, trying to make you say something. But I'm thankful for that conviction. That conviction always says, you got to do the right thing. You got to go and say you sorry when you're not even sorry. You feel like you ain't even did nothing wrong. You have got to go and show love.
Yes.
Especially if you have said things. Sometimes once you say it, you say it. One thing about me, if I say it, I'm going to stand on it. If I say it, I'm gonna stand on it. It's a lot of times I'll say I'm sorry for what I've said, but I'll say I meant what I said.
So,
and that's not always right.
It comes down to delivery.
To the 15th power.
Okay.
To the 15th power. And sometimes it's just the things that I say. Sometimes it's the things that I say. They may not be received in. And I'll say for my husband wholeheartedly, he is a man. He is, and I love that about him. It ain't no wimp over here at all. No shape, form, or fashion. But I feel like I'm one of the only people in the world that can bring tears to his eyes. And if I have said things to him that I see, the tear won't fall. But I can see the tears well up in his eyes. I know that I have not pleased God, because I have let my mouth just go be out of control. And so through counseling, we have to learn it. And I'm going to tell y'all, and then I'm going to let him speak. We've had multiple counselors.
Yeah.
We have spent lots of money.
Okay.
We have gone to counselors, several counselors, and I'm going to tell you guys, for number one, I don't think it's just African Americans, but I know it's very prevalent amongst, I would say, men and a lot of people. Oh, I'm not going. I don't need to go tell nobody my business or whatever. You need somebody to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That does not know your situation, that can tell you, hey, this isn't right. But I'm going to tell you, for us, what helped us, we had to get, it really helped us to get some Christian counselors. We went through so many. And that's the thing, finding ones that's going to fit for you. We found some at one time, I think one of our first ones, and I mean, he's going to probably disagree with him, but, I think she was sweet on him. Because what our issue was at that time, she basically was telling me that it was enough time had been passed and I needed to get over it. Whatever it was.
And see, that's my problem with Christian counselors.
She wasn't a Christian.
She wasn't a Christian.
She wasn't a Christian counselor. No,
because
she wasn't.
because
she wasn't.
I didn't ran up on a couple where that's how they feel, and they have a scripture for everything, and sometimes that scripture does not fit what I'm going through. It's not. I'm not cookie cutter.
Yeah. One of the things with our counselors, and it's two different set of married couples that have helped us, and they know who we are. We are just so indebted to them. What really resonated with us, not only were they Christian counselors, but they didn't back everything up with the Bible. They backed it up with their own personal experiences. Personal experiences.
That's what I'm talking about.
To let us know, you guys, you think you've gone through X, Y, and Z. We thought what we was the absolute worst, but hearing their stories was like, wow. And they told us what they had to do, and they had to allow God to help them to change who they were to be a better husband or wife. So, it was this is like probably the third or fourth set. The second.
So y'all was going to couples. Y'all was meeting with couples.
The first couple we met with were good, and they got us to a certain point.
Well, first two were individuals.
Okay.
The second was a couples, but then he had to meet with the husband.
Yeah.
And took us all the way back to our childhood to be able to figure out what things have you gone through, have made you be the person that you are today.
Yeah.
So we can see what we need to work on. Why, do you look at things through this particular lens? What have you experienced in your life? Took us back individually. We had to counsel all the way up before we could do counseling together as a couple.
Right.
They have to work with us individually. And it took commitment and persistence and just, really being vulnerable and really wanting the change.
Yeah.
We wanted to learn how to communicate with each other because at the end of the day, a lot of our problems, and it's been, it's been several. It was communication. Some of it was some other things, but I feel like at the end of the day, the communicating was the reason why, I will say, being transparent, there was infidelity because we weren't communicating with each other. We were assuming that, like we were talking about last week when I talked about the early menopause and not knowing and not having the libido. He was assuming I just didn't want to have sex or relationship with him. But we weren't communicating with it. So that's one of the reasons why. Oh, when they say, hey, if you ain't giving it to them,
somebody else
it's happening.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's why I had to take responsibility for that at that time. But communication, when we look back on it, was a problem because if we would even talk to them and I'd be like, hun, this is how I'm feeling. I ain't talked about it. I didn't talk about it. But communication has a lot to do with a lot of our issues over the years.
Yeah. Well, before we get a little further, we're going to take a break. All right? Because we finna get a little deep. We're going to get deeper. All right? So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back.